Hi, welcome to Cody and Joey Movie Reviews. I'm Joey.
And I'm
Wakim.
Cody.
And today we're going to be reviewing Mad Max: The Fury Road.
Yep. All right, so should we just get into it, talk about where we're coming from with this series?
That's what I think so, yeah. I recently just got into the series. The Road Warrior was like the one that I just saw with Mel Gibson. And, Cody actually recommended to watch that one first to kind of get caught up before seeing Mad Max: Fury Road. So this film is directed by George Miller. He originally did all of them, and the last film that he did was 30 years ago with Mad Max Road Warrior. So I think it was really great for him to come back and do this one more time. But they're definitely different films. What did you think about the movie?
Well, this movie, I feel, much like with all the other Mad Max movies, are really good. I think George Miller has an amazing visual style with all of his movies. They're quirky, they're weird. Of course, they're from Australia, so you can kind of expect that. It's like when you watch a British film, they're just wild and out there. And Mad Max is no different, especially with this movie. And I think it might be a little off-putting for some American audiences. May not understand some of the lingo, may not understand some of the weirdness. But yeah, definitely this movie is just, I would have to say, one of my favorite movies this year. But then again, it's only, May. So we haven't had a whole lot of movies. I've been hearing, though, recently, best action movie of the decade. Now, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the summer movie season has just started, so there's going to be a lot of sequels coming out. Terminator, Mission Impossible.
Oh, definitely,
Jurassic
some big
World.
names out there,
big names,
big
absolutely.
franchises.
So this is kind of like a really interesting way to start the summer because this is like a pretty hard R movie, but it's still like a summer blockbuster. They have 3D showings, they have IMAX showings and stuff like that. But before I saw the movie, though, the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are just insanely
they're
high.
Tremendous, near perfect. It has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mm-hmm. That is astonishing. Even some Best Picture winners in the past few years have not gotten that kind of praise from critics. And I remember just reading those early reviews and thinking, oh my goodness, this might just be something tremendous. But having seen the movie now, I don't necessarily agree with that. And I think I can boil it down to the main point that this movie is called Mad Max. And yet, just like with all the other Mad Max movies that I've seen, Max is the least interesting character in this movie. Now, Tom Hardy, he plays a good Max. It's certainly different than the way that, Mel Gibson would play it. He was sort of the smooth, suave, kind of quiet, sort of Han Solo anti-hero sort of thing. And this one, he plays it very much like a brute, like how you would expect to live in a post-apocalyptic world where you don't have the civilized, you don't, you just go crazy. He is truly mad at this point, but it's very different. So to say that Max is the very least interesting character in this movie is not to ding the performance. I like Tom Hardy. I only know him from Christopher Nolan movies, but having seen those, he is a great actor. They couldn't have gotten a better actor for this role. I'm just saying the way the character's written is not that interesting.
I think Charlize Theron definitely, took the reins.
Oh yeah, she definitely stole the show here. She is the most interesting.
So definitely, I think, walking into the movie with those really high expectations, it was like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I guess I was expecting it to be incredible, and it was a great movie, don't get me wrong. I felt like maybe it started off a little bit slow, kind of setting up the characters and what the story is. But I think once you get Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron's characters to start talking and get them connected in the film, it really starts to kick in. But yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. I think you're right about Tom Hardy being the least interesting character. I thought it was kind of cool being a fan of, Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Those little references to Bane here and there.
There were definitely a lot of them, especially the mask. I think that's the one everyone will know. He wears that mask over his face. Eventually he does get it off, thank goodness, because if he had spent the whole movie with that on, it kind of would have annoyed me a little bit. But definitely a reference to The Dark Knight Rises, obviously. And this movie was actually in production during that movie. Actually, it's why Charlize Theron didn't have a bigger role in Prometheus. She was supposed to be in this movie, but then production got delayed, and She sort of has a bit part in that movie, but
Ah.
definitely this movie has had a troubled production. And honestly, with the end result, I'm surprised it's as good as it is. If you hear anything about this movie,
Mm-hmm.
troubled production, trying to get things going. But yeah, definitely. I think after The Dark Knight Rises came out, George Miller decided, yeah, we should play on his Dark Knight sort of role because that's where most people are probably gonna know him. Either that or Inception.
Yeah, either that or Inception. But
There's not much to him in Inception. I mean, he's
Yeah.
sort of a minor character, kind
Mhm.
of.
And yeah, definitely. I think people would know him more from like the Dark Knight Rises. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are definitely like more fans of Batman per se more than like Nolan. But yeah, overall, I think I would give this film 4 stars out of 5. Like the pros for the movie, I thought that it flowed really well. I think once you got the characters established, some of the shots in the movie were incredible. It definitely stayed true to the original Mad Max movies. I think George Miller kind of definitely like nodded to the audiences in many respects. The cons I'd have to say is, in my opinion at least, there was like a slow start to the movie, and the one character that I thought was going to be the most interesting ended up being the least interesting character. But that's my verdict. What do you say, Cody?
I would have to say my verdict is a lot like yours. I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. Same as you. I would think out of all the Mad Max movies I have seen, this is probably my favorite of them, which is not to say, that all the other ones are bad. I would actually probably put Road Warrior, they're like neck and neck, basically. Like, maybe a different day I might think one's better than the other. But honestly, you say that it was slow at the beginning. I never felt that this movie was slow. I mean, maybe with the characters or so, you're kind of, they just throw you into the movie. They don't really give backstory or anything. You're just boom, go. I think the action in this movie is very kinetic from beginning to end. Even in slow moments, it flows so well, especially when you get to know some of the other characters, like, what's his name? Nux, I think. The bald, the one played by Nicholas Hill. Yeah.
Spray painted like his mouth silver.
Oh, yeah, and riding into the gates of Valhalla. I thought that was pretty good.
Yes.
But definitely, yeah, the same problem I have with the movie. Max is the least interesting character, which is a problem since his series is Mad Max. It should be about him and his journey, but really, he's kind of just a bit player in this. But definitely the visuals of this movie, tremendous. Now, we didn't see it in 3D, but I can imagine this movie looks tremendous in 3D. Yeah. But definitely the movie's experience is so great, and I really like it, and I do highly recommend people go out and see it.
Yeah.
But not the best action film of the decade. I would even say Captain America: The Winter Soldier is a better one than this, because in terms of character and even in some bits of action. I think the hand-to-hand combat between Cap and the Winter Soldier in that movie is amazing. And this movie has a lot of great action, but honestly, if you're looking for story, it's a very basic story. The characters, all the minor characters, have great development. Unfortunately, that main character is just not that great. So, yeah, 4 out of 5 stars I would give it.
Well, sounds good. Stay tuned.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, next week, actually, Poltergeist is coming out. A remake of actually one of my favorite horror movies. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't checked it out, but I might need to go watch that.
Yeah, you probably do. The trailers are looking great. And I actually can't wait. And also next week, Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland, yes.
The George Clooney Disney attraction movie, I guess. It looks like it's based off of their, Tomorrowland attraction.
The attraction at Disney.
Much like Pirates of the Caribbean, but who knows how the movie will turn out. It has George Clooney. It's directed by the guy who did The Incredibles, so it can actually be.
4.
Oh, yeah, Mission Impossible 4. That's one to look forward to. Ant-Man, I'm a huge Marvel fan. I mean, I got my Deadpool shirt on here, so
awesome.
Definitely a lot of summer movies, and of course, Jurassic World.
Terminator. We'll see how that one is. The trailer's misleading.
The trailer.
I mean, Arnold's back, but
yeah, he's back. But is that a good thing? Every time I watch that trailer, I just it's not looking good. They can improve the CGI a little bit.
But Mission Impossible looks really good, I think.
Yeah. Again, I haven't seen. I've only seen Mission Impossible 4.
Yeah, like that's the one that like we saw, I think, on like opening day,
Midnight premiere,
yeah.
And I think we really tried to do it because of the Dark Knight Rises scene, but unfortunately, our theater didn't have that.
Yeah, they were really strict on that. I mean, 70 millimeter IMAX only, and we didn't have that. I think we have such a big screen. I think almost like the largest digital screen in North America, but.
I think we should have gotten it, but unfortunately we had to watch bootleg versions on the internet.
Yes, but at least we did see the footage.
Yeah, and of course we saw the movie too.
Oh yeah,
midnight premiere.
Quite a few times.
It was the last midnight premiere I've been to because we don't have midnight premieres anymore. They're always Thursday 7 o'clock showings.
Yeah, Thursday at 7 o'clock. I mean, there really is something special about going at midnight, waiting in line with like all those fans dressed in the certain costumes for the movie. And it would be nice to see that come back. I know that. Yeah. I mean, things have changed since like the like Dark Knight Rises incident happened, but we'll just have to wait and see where time goes with that.
Maybe with Star Wars when that comes out later.
Yeah,
they might bring back the midnight premieres.
And those tickets, we have to get them the second that they come out.
Oh man, if we can get there in time.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, those are going to be sold out for weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, if Avengers was insane. I remember being in the line. It wrapped around our theater.
No way.
Yeah, Star Wars is going to be even worse. It's going to be crazy packed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for watching us, and stay tuned.
See you next week.